The stakes are high in the upcoming November congressional election, with Republicans hoping to shift the balance of power in the Democrat-controlled Senate. One of those seats the GOP is hoping to pick up belongs to two-term incumbent Mark Pryor of Arkansas. His opponent is 4th District Congressman and U.S. Army veteran Tom Cotton. Joining us live in studio now, the man himself, Representative Cotton. Mr. Cotton, thanks for being here tonight.
Great to be on with you, Darren.
Right now, looking at the average of all the polls, if you do an amalgamation there, you're up by 3 percentage points. Your thoughts tonight as you start to near the finish line just 3 months from now?
Well, you know, Daryl, polls go up, polls go down. The one number that doesn't change is 90%. That's the number of times that Mark Pryor votes for Barack Obama in Washington, D.C. I think the Obama agenda is not good for Arkansas. It means higher taxes, more deficit, more regulation, and Arkansas needs a senator who puts Arkansas first, not Barack Obama first. That's the kind of senator I'll be for Arkansas.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you've invited Mark Pryor to debate 5 times now. He's refused all 5 times. Why?
I don't know. We'd have to ask Senator Pryor. I suspect it's the fact that he supports the Obama agenda and votes with Barack Obama 90% of the time. If I had that record of voting for Obamacare, voting for $1 trillion of new debt every year, voting not to protect our borders and to grant amnesty to 12 million illegal immigrants, I might not want to defend my record to Arkansas voters either.
The eyes of the nation are on this race, given the gravity of this situation. This could be the swing seat in turning the Senate red. Any pressure?
You know, when you patrol in the streets of Baghdad and you have al-Qaeda trying to shoot you and blow you up and do the same thing to your soldiers, the pressures of a political race don't really get much to you. I'm just trying to run a campaign that's going to put Arkansas first and then put Arkansas first in the United States Senate. We'll let the rest of the country sort itself out. This is a race that's going to be about Arkansas.
Now, Congressman, of course, this race, as I said, has been on the radar since last fall. All of the national pundits have been pointing to this one as the possible swing race. And it's gotten dirty at times. You yourself have even gone so far as to question Mark Pryor's faith.
Well, what I've said is that Mark Pryor and Barack Obama's record is actually infringing on the faith of all Arkansans. When you look at legislation like Obamacare that requires deeply faithful business owners to pay for practices that violate their faith, that's an infringement of their freedom of religion. And that's what we have in this country is freedom of religion, not mere freedom of worship to be done on Sunday mornings. I respect all Arkansans' faith, and I want to make sure that we honor the First Amendment freedom of religion, which is one of the first freedoms of this country.
Now, Congressman, domestic issues have pretty much driven this campaign, but how do you combat someone like Mark Pryor, who has not only a family lineage, of course, David Pryor, his father, a longtime seated senator from the state of Arkansas, but he's got name recognition, and he's also an incumbent. How do you battle that, given the fact that you've only served 1 term in Congress?
Well, I haven't been in Washington very long, but I've been there long enough to know that Washington needs to change. And I just campaign every day all across Arkansas. Today, we woke up in the River Valley in Dardanelle, my hometown, and spent all day in East Arkansas, in Helena, West Helena, Forest City, Wheatley, finished up in Wynne. And we're just taking our message of smaller government, smarter government, lower taxes, and strong national security all across Arkansas. I think that's what's going to win this race in the end.
Now, over the past decade, Arkansas has swung decidedly Republican, from the state capitol almost all the way through Washington. But when you're talking about Mark Pryor, you're looking at an individual here who has kind of walked the line on some issues, like gay marriage. He has opposed gay marriage. Other domestic issues, he's launched his opposition against the minimum tax, or excuse me, the minimum wage. How do you fight that as a conservative when he sometimes agrees with you?
Well, Mark Pryor may talk like a moderate at times in Arkansas, but when he gets to Washington, he votes like a liberal. He votes 93% of the time with Barack Obama. That's not good for Arkansas. He casts a decisive vote for Obamacare. He's voted for $1 trillion of new deficit spending every single year. He's voted to give amnesty to 12 million illegal immigrants. So he may talk one way in Arkansas, but Arkansans know that he votes with Barack Obama in Washington.
Congressman, you've said before publicly that you are willing to buck the trend. You are one who will stand against the GOP when you feel that's necessary. A 2-part question here. Give me a for instance. When would you vote against the party line, and how often would you be willing to do that?
Well, I'll vote against my own party anytime I don't think my party is doing what's right for Arkansas. What's right for Arkansas is not $1 trillion of new deficit spending every year, and I've frequently voted for legislation that would aggressively move to balance our budget, because Arkansans know, whether they're farmers, ranchers, businessmen, or just families, that you have to live within a budget. We can't keep spending more and more money, and too often that's what both Republicans and Democrats like to do in Washington.
You have the experience necessary. Will you be able to carry the gravitas into the Senate and be able to effectively do that? Because oftentimes we hear that on the campaign trail, Congressman, but when you get inside the machine, that's oftentimes more difficult to pull off than it sounds.
Yeah, unlike Mark Pryor, I haven't spent a lifetime in politics. I'm in my first term in the United States House, which is my first political race. But I have served our country in other ways in far-off places like Iraq and Afghanistan. And frankly, I think Arkansans now are ready for people who come with a little bit different background, not a lifelong background in politics. I've shown that I can face the pressures that we faced as soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan. I think I can face the pressures in the halls of Congress doing what's right for Arkansas.
He is Arkansas Congressman Tom Cotton. Mr. Cotton, good luck. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you, Darrell.
Now.